Next game is Blackburn Rovers against Manchester City. Well, Manchester City have been the talk of the town all summer, really, with their spending. Tevez, Santa Cruz, Adebayor and Kolo Toure all coming in. And they're a lot shorter now, Steve, than they were this time last year to break into that top four. Yeah. What do you think about their spending? How do you see their chances of breaking into that group at the top?
I mean, it's a little bit lopsided at this stage, isn't it? I mean, they've got an awful lot of forwards. How they're going to keep them all happy, I'm not sure. Oh, I almost got the feeling they bought Adebayor and they went through with the Rocky Santa Cruz deal because they'd said we're going to buy him. Yeah. But why would you have Rocky Santa Cruz
I have no idea.
Adebayor? You buy Adebayor. I mean, the problem with Rocky Santa Cruz, if we remember rightly, when he was at Bayern Munich, I think he only played 161 games in something like 11 seasons. He was averaging between 15 and 20 games. Now, he was, apart from having the one great season, year before last, he was injured most of last season. Yeah. You know, so is he a player, 17 or 18 million, that you can rely on to play you when you're averaging? He's only averaging below 50% for the last 10 or 11 years, apart from one season. You can't rely on someone like that. It's a lot of money to pay for someone who's completely out of form as well last year.
Do you see them playing those two together at any point?
No, I don't. Not with
so
the players. You've got Bellamy. You'll have Bellamy. You'll have Tevez. So they've got 2 for 1 all over. Yeah. You know, that's without Benjani and and others. I know they got rid of Casida, but it's a decent squad there. Yes. This for me is not about the players. This is about Mark Hughes. This is how Mark Hughes manages. You know, they haven't had a great pre-season. Yeah. They've been playing the 4-3-2-1 Christmas tree and the 4-1-3-2, whatever you want to call it. You know, I'm not sure you need to confuse the issue here. I think we should get back to basics, play players in the positions that they've done so well at, and they'll have a squad that will be capable of being very difficult to beat.
On Mark Hughes, do you think Mark Hughes is comfortable with Manchester City? Do you think he's a good fit for that club? Yeah, because they're playing his old club Blackburn here. He was a good fit there.
Yes.
But is he a good fit at Man
not
City?
To say. He's a big enough personality. He's a big enough, as in his name in football, which probably a lot of people will want that. But I don't know whether or not it suits him to have all these players available and fitting them in the right way and in the right boxes. And I'm almost of the opinion, we're getting to a stage where, another analogy, he's almost, you know, when you're in the trenches and you've got 30 people and you're against 300 and the odds are against you, that's when Mark Hughes almost seemed to be at his best. If he's in charge of the 300 and he's attacking the 30 people in the trenches, I don't get the feeling that's quite where...
That is kind of what I'm getting at.
We're getting the best. He clearly didn't manage well. When you consider how well he managed at Blackburn and how well he managed last year, he made some big mistakes. You know, there were some bad decisions, bad balance, bad shape, players playing out of position, obviously not the right players. You know, and they had some poor results, and they had a very imbalanced their play, didn't they? They were very good with the ball, but without the ball they were terrible. And I thought, you know, he would have done something far quicker than that to have sorted that problem out. This is not. I don't think this is about Man City. I don't think it's about Blackburn. I think it's about Mark Hughes.
Well,
if Mark Hughes
agree.
Gets it right, then Man City have got to go to Blackburn and beat Blackburn.
Yes. What you're saying, I agree with. I think there's some managers who are good battling against the odds, and you think of people like Alan Kirbishley, who did a great job at Charlton, but you always wondered if they'd be suited to having 50 players on £50 million a year. And all that. Whereas, you know, that's I suppose a challenge. Looking at Blackburn, Steve, Sam Allardyce, I looked at the stats on him. If you looked at the points that he picked up after he took over last year, if he'd been in charge all season with those points per game stats, Blackburn would have come about 10th or 11th. He did brilliantly. Did a great job.
He did fantastic. Well, and you've just said he might be another one where it's horses for courses, you know. That Blackburn would suit Sam far more than Newcastle, you know.
And do you think, on the basis of what he did last year, do you think they will be more of a mid-table team than a relegation battling team this year?
Well, I mean, they've also lost players. That, you know, theirs was very much. I got the feeling that when they went in there was more to them than met the eye. You know, I think clearly they'd underperformed before he was there. Yeah. I think he'll do a good job. I think mid-table might be a stretch. I don't think they'll go down, but I can see them. 6th, 7th, 8th from bottom, something like that.
Yeah, so maybe
just below mid-table.
Maybe top half of the bottom half.
Yes,
I mean,
yes, but you wouldn't associate any of his sides really with getting relegated, I don't think.
No. And very briefly on the game, do you have a view on this, Steve? Or?
No, I think it's a tough one to call because, as I say, Man City are still, for me, unpredictable. They didn't have a great pre-season, and I'm not quite sure where we are with Blackburn, what they would take in this game. So they'll undoubtedly be tough to beat. Yeah. It'll be whether Man City are at it and on the ball, and if they are, you wouldn't back against them.
No, so do keep your stakes low on this game if you're looking to bet on it. We've gone for the draw as our first bet at a price of 40 to 17. Our second bet, this is very speculative. We've gone on both teams to score at 5 to 6, but we're not really confident about these bets. It's so early. We'd probably leave this game alone if we could. And just to give you a couple of outright prices, Manchester City to finish in the top 4 are 7 to 4, and Blackburn in the relegation market are 8 to 1 to go down.